It's Monday, February 6th. In the headlines in local news, public transport operators are demanding more traffic courts. In business news, UK-based Menzies Aviation acquires Ajas Limited. Regionally, Barbados government boosting cyber defense due to vicious attacks against government departments. Internationally, East Mediterranean earthquake kills over 9,000, wounds over 5,000, and fallout figures are still mounting. And in sports, Morocco's Wydad look for first tournament win in FIFA Club World Cup. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Public transport operators are calling for more traffic courts across the island. The call on behalf of the operators was made by Andrea Moore Phillips, legal advisor to Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, at the first in a series of town hall meetings on the new Road Traffic Act, held at Melbourne Cricket Club in St. Andrew on Sunday. She's quoted saying, "We need more traffic courts in Jamaica, particularly in Kingston, to deal with these matters so that if somebody gets a ticket, they will be more than willing to pay if they can get the date," end quote. She says some operators are pleading guilty to offenses that they have not committed or do not understand out of fear of having to return to court and miss out of days of earnings. Meanwhile, Moore Phillips pointed to provisions in the new Road Traffic Act, such as the requirement for child restraint seats. According to the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, the matter is being reviewed by the authorities.
The Cabinet, in its retreat, took some time off to deliberate on the matter of a child restraint system being now enforced under the new Road Traffic Act and the public concerns that have been raised. First, I want to say that your government pays attention to what you say as the public, and your views inform our action. And all governments try to be, or should try to be, in sync with the perspectives that are expressed by its citizens.
Meanwhile, some taxi operators have withdrawn their services in protest against the situation. World Under-20 triple jump champion Jaden Hibbert copped the Prime Minister's Special Award for Excellence at the National Youth Awards for Excellence on the weekend.
He is the world and national under-20 junior triple jump holder for 2022. The ISA Champs long and triple jump record holder and champion in 2022. He is also the World Athletics under-20 silver medalist. He is a youth ambassador in sports and a member of the Kingston College track team, where he serves as a mentor to younger jumpers. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Prime Minister's Special Award goes to Jaden Hibbert.
He's among 19 young Jamaicans who were awarded for their outstanding contribution in various areas. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, in his address, congratulated the recipients as well as those shortlisted and encouraged them to continue the excellent work in their various fields of endeavor.
Education and skills training are essential for the future of our young people. Encourage your peers to embrace their education and skills training opportunities that are provided. I encourage you to continue your excellent work in your various fields of endeavor and to return to your schools and communities and make it a part of your duty to mentor and inspire your peers, your friends.
In congratulating the awardees, Minister of Education and Youth Favour Williams encouraged them to continue to work towards making the world a better place.
Our young people are more than simple recipients of well-meaning adult actions. Instead, they are actively wise, insightful, effective, and meaningful members of society who contribute countless things in countless ways throughout the society. Congratulations to all the awardees, and may the joy of success inspire you to continue to build, create, solve problems, and make this world a better place.
57 individuals along with 3 youth groups were shortlisted for this year's Prime Minister's National Youth Awards for Excellence. The ceremony was held under the theme Reignited. Cash prizes were also presented to the award recipients courtesy of Sagicor Group and Heart Trust NSTA. Kabaka Pyramid has won a Grammy for his sophomore project, The Calling. The Calling was one of 5 albums nominated in the Best Reggae Album category at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards held in Los Angeles. The other 4 albums nominated in the category are Coffee's Gifted, Protege's Third Time's the Charm, Sean Paul's Scorcher, and Shaggy's Come Fly With Me. Today marks the 78th commemoration of Jamaican music icon, the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley, popularly called Bob Marley. A commemorative concert and a showcase were staged at the Bob Marley Museum in Kingston, Jamaica under the theme Easy Skanking. A global observation is being carried out both on the day as well as throughout the year to celebrate the music icon's birthday.
One Love Youth Camp is basically a camp put on by the Bob Marley Foundation. We have partners with Ben & Jerry's, and a lot of people come in because Bob Marley was a very youth role model. Yes. He really looked out for the youth. So this was basically for the youths to come somewhere where they can actually escape from their environment. Most of these youths are from like Trenchtown, some inner cities. So to get them out of the environment, we do it at Tapioca Village, that's in St. Mary, and they learn different techniques and like soft skills, learn music, and it's just a vibe.
One of the upcoming things planned to highlight Bob Marley's achievements in music is coming from his family. The Marley family, in celebration of his birthday, which falls under Reggae Month, observed in February every year, will see the Marley family Tough Gong and UME release a limited vinyl edition, which will go on sale in March. PBCJ's Chief Executive Officer, Keith Campbell, was among several members of the Press Association of Jamaica who were honored at the association's Veterans Luncheon recently. The luncheon is one of several activities being held in commemoration of National Press Month. Mr. Campbell was honored for his service as a cameraman, technical director, production manager, as well as CEO of PBCJamaica, with a sum total of 35 years experience. PAJ's treasurer spoke on Mr. Campbell's other achievements.
Holds the distinction as the only media personality who has served in senior management positions at all free-to-air television entities in Jamaica. He has lectured at the Media Technology Institute, MTI, the training division of the CPTC, and is currently the adjunct lecturer at the University of Technology, UTech, and at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. Keith's professional career has spanned approximately 40 years, during which time he gained extensive experience locally and internationally in all aspects of television management, production, programming, policy making, and negotiations. Keith is currently a board member and the secretary of the Broadcast and Allied Services Cooperative Credit Union. He was recently appointed to the African Caribbean Institute of Jamaica, Jamaica Memory Bank Liberty Hall Board. He is also the interim president of the St. Thomas Cricket Association, having served as vice president for 6 years and a member of the Communications Committee of the Jamaica Cricket Association. Keith is an Anglican and the father of 2 daughters.
The other honorees included Pat Riley, Jamaica's first camera woman of JBC. She received an award for 25 years of work in the sector. In addition, Clevens Wilson, technical director and cameraman, was recognized for 47 years under his belt. Maxine Schrouder, librarian with JIS, received recognition for her 35 years of excellent media work. In addition, Ian Watkins of the Jamaica Observer was celebrated for his performance as a press technician for 27 years. The group of honorees were selected for their contributions to the nation's media and journalistic growth, positive evolution and build-out, and have a combined total of 169 years of media expertise between them. Time now for the Business Report with Danita Rodney.
UK-based Menzies Aviation, the largest aviation services company in the world, has acquired a majority stake in Jamaican-based Aegis Limited. Aegis, which has operated in Jamaica for over 80 years and employs almost 600 staff, provides ramp, passenger and cargo handling services to several international airlines at the two leading airports in Jamaica. Following the acquisition, Aegis Limited will be rebranded as Menzies Aegis, bringing it in line with the other companies under the Menzies Group. Now for your market updates. In foreign exchange trading for Friday, February 3, the US dollar sold for an average of $155.16. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $116.03. The pound sterling traded for $188.73, and the euro sold for $166.53. In JSE trading, the JSE index advanced by 796 points. The junior market index declined by 19 points. The combined market index advanced by 557 points, and the All Jamaican Composite Index advanced by 394 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 114 stocks, of which 47 advanced, 49 declined, and 18 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, and Blue Power Group Limited. Stocks declined for Access Financial Services Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Trading firm were Caribbean Cream Limited, Carreras Limited, and Elite Diagnostic Limited. The overall volume leaders were Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 4 million units, Tropical Battery Company Limited with over 1 million units, and Image Plus Consultants Limited with over 900,000 units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Calypso Macro Index Fund was the only active security posting a volume of 211 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, Government of Barbados Bond Series B was the volume leader with over 60,000 shares. They were followed by Goddard Enterprises Limited with over 1,000 shares, and Epley Property Fund, Value Fund, which traded over 6,000 shares. In regional business, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Keith Rowley on Friday confirmed that the first meetings to begin negotiations with Venezuela have been set up to discuss the Dragon gas field.
Trinidad and Tobago has several meetings scheduled with Venezuela to discuss the Dragon gas field project. This was confirmed by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley in the lower house on Friday. Dr. Rowley reiterated that although the first hurdle was crossed to getting the sanctions lifted to develop the field, a lot more needs to be done, including the agreement with several parties, including Shell and Venezuela. However, he said plans are afoot to move forward with talks.
The first hurdle has been crossed. The government of Venezuela has made no public statement which specific to Trinidad and Tobago's use of the OFAC license. Trinidad and Tobago is in touch with Venezuela. We have meetings scheduled and negotiations ahead of us, and therefore I can say nothing further at this time.
Dr. Rowley also chastised the opposition, noting that Venezuela has not yet made any public statement regarding the agreement between both countries.
I am not talking about the statement by the president of Maduro talking about the American behavior and colonialism. I was very clear in how I chose my words, and I do not wish the member of Naparima to speak for me or to say what I said, what I didn't say. I was very clear with respect to Venezuela, treating with Trinidad and Tobago on this issue. The Venezuelan government has made no statement. And that's very important. This eagerness for this to fail resides in the bosom of our members on the other side, and I would ask you to wait.
In market data for oil prices rose from an 8% drop last week on supply concerns, but was still trading near 3-week lows. Brent crude futures rose 37 cents to $80.31, while West Texas Intermediate crude futures slipped 13 cents to $73.52 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, Trinidad and Tobago have appointed its first female commissioner. On Friday, Erla Herwood Christopher was confirmed as the Commissioner of Police following a unanimous vote in the House of Representatives on Friday.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley led the motion to approve this country's first female Commissioner of Police, saying government was not surprised that she was at the top of the merit list from the Police Service Commission.
That this officer is highly qualified and very experienced, and therefore we are not entirely surprised that she would have found favor with the Service Commission, who would have listed her as the top applicant.
Dr. Rowley, though, pointed out that an issue arose since Ms. Christopher was due to retire from the police service in May after turning 60 years of age. But he noted that there is a workaround in the law which allows for an extension of 1 year in the first instance, and following a review, it could be further extended for another 2 years.
The imminent fact of the retirement of Mrs. Harewood Christopher as a 1st Division police officer by the operation of Section 74(2) of the Police Service Act neither impacts nor disqualifies her nomination, nor indeed the House voting to affirm that nomination for her appointment.
Opposition MP Dr. Rudal Munilal said the opposition had no issue with her qualifications, noting that they did support her appointment as acting police commissioner in December. But he said as police commissioner, she would have an uphill task due to the crime and criminality facing the country.
I think there's a song, every move you make, every step you take. We'll be watching every move, every step, and we reserve the right to be critical, to scrutinize the work of the executive.
Ms. Christopher, who has been acting as Commissioner of Police since December, received 36 votes for her appointment in the lower house, with no one voting against and no abstentions. Sonolala, TTT News.
In the Bahamas, many Haitian immigrants have been left without basic needs after a blaze engulfed a shanty town on Sunday. Megan Shepherd has that report.
Smoke clouds filling the atmosphere this morning as an early morning blaze engulfed a shanty town on Pink Meadow Road off Bellard Road in the Carmichael Road area. Police Press Liaison Chief Superintendent Chrisling Skibbins telling media on the scene that firefighters were called to the scene shortly after 10 a.m.
On arrival, met a shanty town consisting of multiple wooden single-story structures totally engulfed in flames. Firefighters were able to bring the blaze under control within a relatively short period of time. We presently have on scene fire investigators along with crime scene investigators who have commenced work into this particular incident to see exactly how this fire started.
Skipping says she understands that over 20 homes were destroyed, leaving over 50 people displaced.
We have reached out to social services, and so we're presently awaiting their arrival so that they can assist the displaced persons in resuming normalcy in their lives at this particular time.
One resident who left to run errands returned home to meet everything going up in smoke.
I stepped out and went for groceries. See them over there? See the shopping bags? Just as I returned to put the bags inside, I saw the fire. And my passport was in my pocket and my work permit was in my wallet. That's all I was able to save.
An elderly resident upset with the fire truck's response time says she only managed to save one bag of her belongings and is unsure how she will start over.
1 hour went. One. Another one went. Pompier come, when he come, no water. Gone out again. All I was start to burn. All. Nobody saved nothing.
Skippings had this response as it relates to the arrival of the fire trucks.
They responded with 3 units, all of which were filled to capacity with water to be able to fight the blaze.
Barbadian Minister of Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, Davidson Ishmael, is giving assurance to citizens that the government is working on beefing up its cyber defense systems in wake of recent cyber attacks at various government departments.
We're nowhere near where we should be in terms of our maturity overall, but we are making significant strides to get us where we should be. And it doesn't mean that we're a victim. It doesn't mean that we're open. There's no open day on Barbados relative to our cyberspace and our cybersecurity. We have significant infrastructure in place. We have a data center that is fully protected. We have several critical assets across the government service that are protected in many different ways and to many different degrees. Things I can't share with you, of course, but we have several layers of protection on the critical assets of Barbados. So I would say to Barbadians, you don't have to fear that your data or your information is going to be breached in any significant way. But what I would say to us is that the fact remains that cybersecurity is a dynamic area. Cybersecurity training is a major component of the spending that we're going to be doing and that we've budgeted for this fiscal year coming up, 2023-2024. Cybersecurity training is a major component of that across the public service and then and the wider Barbados as well. As you rightly said, there are many times where some of these incidents start by somebody just clicking a link that they should not have clicked, and a little bit of public education, a little bit of knowledge being shared, a little bit of training. And I've actually asked my team, I've given instruction to my team to start to have those conversations with the public service and of course with wider Barbados. And I said, create little videos, short videos that say, hey, don't click on a malicious link from somebody you don't know. The different little things. Some people know this already, but there's still a lot of persons out there who are not as au fait technologically as we would like them to be. Our job as the ministry responsible for innovation and for science and for technology is to bring our people along as much as possible.
In international news, Turkey's president has said the death toll in the country has risen to 912 people. He said 5,383 people have been wounded in the country, adding that he could not predict how high the casualty numbers would rise. We join Al Jazeera News for the latest.
Our priority is to rescue those in need. 9,000 elements are working now hard to rescue and to continue the rescue operations. The governorates that have been hugely affected by this earthquake and the results and the rubbles also need a lot of work and support even by the citizens. Since the very first moment of the earthquake, we were in contact with the local and concerned authorities and agencies in Ankara as well. The coordination center in Ankara has quickly moved under the chairmanship of the vice president. The ministers went to the governorate in order to supervise the rescue operations at the place. Since the very beginning, those governorates affected and the governorates that are little bit affected have been also in contact with us according to a major plan to distribute the rescue teams all over the place. In this winter, the weather is very cold, and the people of Turkey are also in coordination with all of us in order to stop the escalation of the disaster. everyone has done his job quickly, and as soon as possible we will continue our efforts at the same time, because those who are killed and those who are injured and the buildings that have been destroyed are huge. 2,800 buildings have been destroyed and collapsed in these governorates, and the rescue operation is ongoing, and we don't know exactly the figures will mount and will be escalating to what extent.
In sports news, the West Indies made a solid start in the first test against Zimbabwe that began in that country over the weekend. TTT Live has the details.
The men from the Caribbean won the toss, with captain Craig Brathwaite choosing to bat, and proved to be a good decision. Brathwaite, who was named in the ICC Test Team of the Year for 2022, along with fellow opener Tajnarain Chandrapol, guided the tourists to 112 without loss. Both men scored 55, with Brathwaite's knock containing 2 fours from 138 balls. Chandrapol's 55 was made from 170 balls with 8 boundaries. However, the rains came after lunch, bringing a premature end to the day's play, with the West Indies hoping to build on a good start on day 2.
Meanwhile, speaking after the first day's play, West Indies captain Craig Brathwaite was pleased with the start his team managed with the bat, stressing the importance of getting a big first innings total.
I think the pitch looked good. They see much moisture in it, so I think it's important to get a big first innings total. And that's pretty much it. I think the pitch today was pretty good. So I think come day 3, day 4, obviously we got a sense for the goals. I think big first innings total is very important.
Brathwaite, meanwhile, believes himself and fellow opener Tajnarain Chandrapol needs to maintain their focus from the start on day 2 of the test.
Well, obviously with rain around, we got to see how the pitch obviously plays. So starting over tomorrow is very crucial. But as I said, first innings total is very important. I think today's history, today's gone. It's important, obviously me and Tej, we're going to start fresh tomorrow. And I think that's very important for us, and continue to build, the foundation for the team, to get a big first innings total.
On Saturday, Wydad Casablanca will be taking on Al Hilal of Saudi Arabia in the FIFA Club World Cup. The African champions will be hoping home support can lift the team to their first ever win in the competition. Al Jazeera's Andy Richardson has been talking to some of the side's fans in Casablanca, Morocco.
Wydad Casablanca fans are renowned as some of the most passionate and organised in world football. They're famous for their so-called tifos, choreographed displays of support involving huge banners and flags.
The set of tifos that they've been unfurling over the last 3 weeks has been nothing short of spectacular. I haven't seen anything like it in world football. I can tell you that I've been to matches, in 10, 11 different countries in the world, and I've never been to an atmosphere like that. I downloaded an app on my phone and try to measure the decibel level, and it was around 90 decibels pretty consistently throughout the match, which I'm told is pretty bad for your eardrums.
Wydad's long history can be traced on the walls of Casablanca's old town, but only once before has the team played at the Club World Cup.
Wydad are the champions of Africa. We are not afraid of anyone. Playing in Morocco is a big advantage for us. Not just Wydad fans, but the whole country will be behind the team.
Wydad's origin story is one that informs the feelings this team inspires.
Under French occupation, access to sports facilities was limited, so in the mid-1930s, some Moroccans formed their own club. Wydad Athletic began life as a water polo team, but quickly expanded to include football. The side went on to become a symbol of the nationalist movement whenever they played.
Mohammed has supported the team all his life. For him, Wydad will always be a club that's about much more than just winning trophies.
بالنسبة لنا احنا الوداد منبع حياة أمل في الحياة
Wydad is a source of hope, a source of life. It gives me a vision of a beautiful world. It's how I breathe, how I forget the problems of life. After a week of work, I get to go on an adventure with my love. It's a love that can only be understood by those who have grown up with this club.
Football and resistance are Wydad's founding principles. That spirit has produced a club that's ready to take on the world.
And that's the news on PBCJ. Thank you so much for watching.